Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Courtney Ryan, and today we're going to be reacting to a TikTok. So we're going to watch together, reconvene, and I will tell you what I think. Getting right into it here, wasting no time.
Nothing turns me off of a man quicker than him starting a conversation with me by saying something sexual. Like right off the bat, it's just like a sexual comment or like a sexual innuendo. Like I'll match with a guy on Raya or on Hinge or something, and like first thing they say to me is like, "I want to motorboat you." I'm like, "What are you saying? That's so weird." How about asking how my day was? Have you ever considered like, I don't know, asking my favorite color? So weird. Like imagine if you went up to a girl in the bar, you look at her, you're like, "You're beautiful. Can I put my face in between your boobs?" Like, it's just weird. Why the would you start a conversation like that? It's so weird. And the thing is also is like my Hinge, my Raya, my Instagram, like they're not that sexual. Like there's not like very many like super like sexy photos. Like they're just pictures of me. The sexiest it gets is like a picture of me like in a bikini. And I'm like, is that really the only thing you can think of to start a conversation? Like, get more creative. So weird. Like, it's so gross and
All right, I have a lot of thoughts here, but I agree. I think honestly, this is one of the quickest ways that a guy can ruin his chances, sometimes within seconds of starting a conversation. So let me share my thoughts. First of all, who starts a conversation by saying, "I want to motorboat you"? What are we doing? The same guy who's saying that is the same kind of guy who's buying Sydney Sweeney's bathwater soap. And I just have no words. But she's right. It's not bold and it's definitely not clever. It's weird, it's uncomfortable, and it instantly makes you look like the guy who does not know how to talk to women. And here's the thing that a lot of guys don't realize. When you lead with something sexual right off the bat, what you are showing is a complete lack of sexual discipline. You're basically announcing that you have absolutely no control over your urges. And to most women, again, most women, it's not just unattractive, it's a huge red flag. Because if you can't even manage yourself in a conversation, how are you going to show up in a relationship? Red flag. I wish I had a little red flag to wave around because my goodness, a guy who's ruled by his lust comes across as immature, impulsive, and frankly, not at all relationship material. It gives off major horn dog energy. And I'm just being honest. I am just being honest. No great woman is swiping right, hoping to match with a horn dog. Emphasis on great woman. That is not healthy relationship behavior. A guy who has control, a guy who knows when to flirt and when to be chill, that is attractive. That shows confidence, awareness, and self-respect. We need to work on that, apparently. I do also want to say, I know this is not going to apply to a lot of you who are watching. So many of you are kind and respectful, and you would never even believe that someone would say maybe you would believe someone would say something like that, but you would never say something like that. But I personally have received enough crazy messages to know that if I've seen this many, I know it's happening to other people. And I'm not even posting anything crazy. And I also know there's going to be a small percentage of people who say, well, if the guy's hot, it works. Not necessarily. I think if a guy is insanely attractive, sure, he might get away with it sometimes. He might get away with more than someone else could, but it doesn't mean you should do it. When a guy is extremely good looking, yes, some women will tolerate certain things at first that they normally wouldn't, but that's not because the behavior itself is attractive. It's because they're giving the guy a temporary pass based on physical appearance. It is totally surface level interest, not real attraction. And the truth is, even for the guys who are very physically attractive, that pass runs out fast if they don't back it up with substance. Again, if we're talking about attracting a great woman that you would want to be in a healthy relationship with, this is not going to work. If you're just looking for a hookup with some rando, okay, sure. But if you're here looking for a healthy relationship, this is absolutely not the move. But yes, from a psychological perspective, initial attraction can trigger a kind of halo effect where someone assumes that because a person is good looking, they must also be confident, charming, funny. But that illusion fades quickly if your behavior doesn't match. If you come off like every other guy who has absolutely no self-control, no self-respect, and no game, the looks stop mattering. Women might stay curious for a second, but they'll quickly lose respect for you. And once that respect is gone, it's over, no matter how attractive you are. In fact, I think when a good-looking guy sends a sexual opener, it can almost be more disappointing because she expected better from him in a way. You don't want to be the guy who looks like a 10 but talks like a 2. Come on. And here's the thing, real attraction isn't just about looks, it's about emotional impact. Confidence, self-control, the ability to hold a conversation, the ability to flirt without being vulgar, those are things that create lasting interest. So if you lead with lust, you come across like someone who cannot regulate their impulses, and no one is attracted to someone who feels out of control unless they themselves are also out of control and addicted to chaos, which, if you want peace in your life, shouldn't be looking for that. So even if you are a good-looking guy, sending a message like that isn't going to help you. If you want to stand out, the answer is not to be more sexual, it's to be more intentional. Ask about something that she mentioned in her profile. Say something funny, or just keep it simple and respectful. Hey, how's your week going? I noticed this on your profile, whatever, is 10 times more attractive than, can I put my face between your boobs? I promise. Women notice when you put in just a little bit of effort. It's going to show that you're not just firing off the same inappropriate message to every single girl that you're swiping right on. You just need to sound like a man who can hold a conversation. It's not about being overly polite or pretending that you're not attracted to her. You should be attracted to the people that you're talking to as a potential romantic interest, right? Flirting is fun when it's earned, but it has to be the right time. If you skip the basic connection and go straight to the sex talk, you have already lost most women. I will also say this because I am sure there's going to be comments about it. I know some people will jump in with, well, what do her pictures look like? I know she briefly mentioned that. And sure, if someone is posting really sexualized content, it's not shocking that it might attract certain types of attention and certain types of people to the content. That's just how the internet works, right? It's not rocket science, but let's also not pretend that that's the whole story. I have gotten downright disgusting comments while wearing a turtleneck sweater. So no, it's not always about what you're wearing or how you're coming across online. It's about the mindset of the person who's also messaging you. So guys, if you're wondering why your matches aren't going anywhere, take a second to just look at how you're starting the conversation. Are you leading with confidence or complete desperation? And remember, a man who has sexual discipline and knows how to pace things will always be more attractive than the guy who acts like he has never talked to a woman in real life before and just has this fantasy and is acting all crazy. So let me know down in the comments, have you ever had someone open a conversation with you with something completely wild? Whether you're a man or a woman watching, or if you're a guy, what kind of first messages actually get responses for you? I would love to hear down below. I know some of you are totally over the online dating thing, so maybe this won't apply to you, but I just think it's helpful to understand why this is unattractive to specifically great women who are looking for a healthy relationship, and just the women that a lot of you guys claim to want to be with and want to attract. I don't think they would appreciate a sexual message like this. And again, I know this will apply to a very small percentage of you. A lot of you are wonderful and say very kind, respectful things. Even for me, it's a small percentage of the overall comments that I get that are deranged. But it happens to me enough to know that it's got to be happening to a lot of other people too. And I've seen so many videos like this on TikTok lately specifically. I actually have another one here and I'll show you because it's relevant.
Here's my biggest ick lately with dating, and it is happening all the time. Please tell me if you are dealing with this too. I'm talking about men over-sexualizing me so fast. These are men that I haven't even been on a date with. They're just texting me. We're in the early texting stage, and they already feel comfortable making comments about my appearance, how sexy I am, how hot I am, things they want to do to me, certain body parts, and you can tell the difference. You can tell the difference between a man being like, you're so beautiful, or you're gorgeous, oh my gosh, and like, you're so sexy, we'd have so much fun. Like, excuse me, sir, why do you feel so comfortable talking to me like that when you haven't even met me? And you will never get to meet me when you lead with that, because it makes me feel disrespected. It makes me feel like a piece of meat. I want someone that actually wants to see me, get to know me, love me. And these aren't even young guys, which is why I'm so confused. These are guys in their 30s, 40s, who still haven't learned that women don't just want to be sexual objects, especially with a solid, high-value woman. That is not going to fly. I immediately stopped talking to them. I'm so turned off.
So again, in no way am I trying to say that all of you are guilty of doing this or that all men are a huge problem. Again, this is a small percentage of people probably, I would assume, doing this. I'm not trying to villainize an entire group of people, but I do think that this is an issue. And again, if you are a guy who wants a real connection with a woman, a good woman, you gotta cut this out. You gotta cut this out. And don't buy Sydney Sweeney's bathwater soap while we're here. I just have to say that. It's disgusting. If I walked into a guy's house and I saw that little bar of soap sitting on the bathtub, I'm out of there. I am out of there so fast. I also made a video, gosh, I think a couple of years ago at this point, which is crazy to say, about sexual discipline and why it is so attractive. I think some people took that video the wrong way, but it could be an interesting watch if you haven't seen it already. Maybe I'll go back and watch my own video and give myself a little refresh, or maybe I'll make a sort of updated video. I could probably talk about this all day, so I'll stop myself here. If you like this video or found it helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to be in the loop for when I release new content. If you haven't already, also be sure to follow me over on Instagram at Courtney Christine Ryan. I love connecting with all of you guys over on there as well. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.